If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about my expectations for this new Logic album, Vinyl Days, because we know that this album is about to drop. He's been busy teasing it on his social media, just all over the place. He's also dropped a snippet from the title track from this new album, so a track also called Vinyl Days, and even in the, the latest tweet that was about his birthday, and he was thanking all his fans for all the birthday wishes, he still tagged it with the hashtag Vinyl Days. So every post that's like on his social media is always somehow connected with Vinyl Days. And so we're about to get this album. He said that we were going to get this when the samples clear, so it could be very soon. It could be within the next couple of weeks. I think that, he wouldn't be out here teasing it on such a big level if it wasn't going to drop within the next couple of weeks. We also thought it was going to drop last week on the 21st. It might drop this Friday on the 28th, but then also in the next couple of weeks. I think it won't be any later than actually February. So we're going to get this very soon, and we've heard the snippet so far, as I said. So today, let's talk about what I expect from this album. Logic is in this, interesting position where he's come back out of retirement in 2021 with that Dog D tape, and then also Bobby Tarantino 3, which I really wasn't a fan of. Y'all know that. So he got to somehow step up his game with this new album. I think he's still somewhat relevant. His fan base is still going really strong, but to gain that or regain that respect in the mainstream that he's lost, especially with, for example, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, he needs to somehow come back with like an actually really good album. No Pressure was the first step in this process, but I think if he can come through with a great Vinyl Days, and then a great College Park, and then an even greater Magic Tape, and then also Ultra 85, he can really just have a legacy that is actually not ending on like this bitter note of a Confessions of a Dangerous Mind and then a Bobby Tarantino 3. So I hope that there's still some room. And as I said, we've heard a snippet so far, and we know that he's taking it back to like an older, style, and old school hip hop boom bap sound that we've heard on this, snippet. We also can tell from the title, Vinyl Days, that he's somehow taking it back to a day when you were still going to get your hip-hop albums on vinyl. So he wants to do some boom bap rapping 90s style, and I think that he's very good at that. And he's done that, for example, also on Young Sinatra, the fourth one to be specific. Of course, the first ones were all over the place, but the fourth one, he was focusing more and more on like a little boom bap sound, just straight up rapping. And I do like when he does that. Now, a lot of people didn't like that fourth Young Sinatra, but I thought as just a hip-hop album, it's just, a matter of bars and just rapping. That was an actually really good album. But I don't think that he can actually get that, mass appeal if he just goes straight to boom bap rapping. He needs to somehow mix in a little bit of that, pop style that also made him come up. If you look at the tapes like Undeniable, Welcome to Forever, Under Pressure, his debut studio album, there was always this modern pop touch to just straight up bars. And I hope that at least on Vinyl Days, we will somewhat get, a modern version of Under Pressure. That is my expectation. That is my hope. Of course, No Pressure was supposed to be that, but I felt like No Pressure really focused on the rapping again. Famously, he had a track called 5 Hooks on there because he only had 5 hooks on the entire album. A majority of the songs were just one big verse, just him rapping the whole song. And I do like that. And don't get me wrong, he said that he's going to do like some boom bap rapping on this thing, so that means he's not doing any pop modern style. But there's a fine line when it comes to, differentiating between this. You can still have great bars, but still, package them in a way that makes for a really interesting song that, people on like a mainstream level are going to listen to, like he did on his mixtapes. Again, I'm shouting out Welcome to Forever and especially Under Pressure, which was still, for hip-hop lovers, those are two amazing records, but for just someone casually tuning in and listening, they can still hold some substance. And that is what I hope that Vinyl Days can do as well. Of course, Logic is in a position right now where he really doesn't care about the industry, about how mainstream, his appeal is or any any of that, so maybe he's not gonna do that. And I, have some problems with this attitude of his, but that's a whole nother topic that we can talk about. But I feel like some of the criticism of Bobby Tarantino 3, maybe it got through to him. Maybe he somehow, is in the position where he'll listen to that criticism and take it, somewhat constructively. I do hope so. I do hope that he's still working on his craft and he's not just like, oh, I can just do whatever I want, because I feel like that was his attitude, for a long time after he retired. I think on No Pressure he actually did a pretty good job, and I like that record quite a lot. But after that, it was just like he felt like he could do whatever he wants. And I hope that, especially, as I said, after Bobby Tarantino 3, which was just all over the place and not a really good record, not a really good mixtape, he's back in a position where he'll sit down, do some disciplined writing on this thing, but package it in a way that still has some modern pop appeal. Of course, it's very interesting when you look at the release schedule that Logic has ahead of him. We're about to get Vinyl Days. My prediction is that we're also going to get that Magic tape this year. I hope that is just, some straight up rapping. Like, that is the album that he can actually just do no hooks and just go full in. We're also going to get College Park, which will feature a lot of the, older people he's collaborated with, Big Lembo, C. Castro, for example. I think that's coming out in 2023, and then in 2024 we're going to get Ultra 85. And Ultra 85 is of course supposed to be this very, storyline focused, grand opium, big end orchestral, just grand closing to his career that will complete the story that was started Under Pressure, went all the way through The Incredible True Story, especially Everybody, that was based heavily on that narrative, and then also some parts of the Bobby Tarantino tapes. And Ultra 85 is the album supposed to close all of this out, and I hope that that is more focused on not just hip-hop, not just rapping, but actually some, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy type of grandiose stuff. Of course, there are high expectations, but Ultra 85 is really a record that is going to be very interesting. I think when that drops, I'm going to make a lot of videos on that. But for now, Vinyl Days, I hope that we're going to get some great bars. He's taking it back to the 90s, to the Vinyl Days. We've heard, a snippet so far sounding very boom bappy, sounding like he's back on his bars, but I hope that this doesn't just, go under the radar because he doesn't put any structure into the songs or in the sequencing of the album. Some of that I was lacking on No Pressure especially. So I do hope that we're going to get somewhat of a modern Under Pressure. That's my hopes. That's my expectations. A modern Under Pressure with some elements of Welcome to Forever. At least that's what I want. But of course, it's always interesting to hear what other people want as well, because obviously this is just my opinion. This was a very subjective video. A lot of the views I expressed were just my own, perspective on things. Now I want to know what you think about this. What are your expectations? What are your hopes for this new Vinyl Days record? What do you think about the snippet we got so far? When do you think this thing is actually releasing, and how do you think, the style will continue throughout the next couple of releases? I'm talking about College Park, I'm talking about Magic, and I'm talking about Ultra 85. How do you think those albums will kind of, line up in, whether it's a boom bap album, whether it's a just straight up rapping album, whether it's a pop album, something like that? All of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and you'll take care.